With reaction, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, and New York Post reporter John Levine is with us. Good to see you all. All right, Pam, let's start with you. You know, knowing that the Biden family has all of this money, knowing that even the mainstream media is predicting that it is possible that an arrest indictment of Hunter can be imminent, why would they be opening themselves up to discovery like this? That seems nuts to me.
Well, it does. Nothing they've done has been rational. And by the way, you guys are having way too much fun there tonight. Greg and I should be in the audience with you. But
we got a rowdy.
No,
these are
Sean,
all my rowdy friends. Don't worry, they're good. They're all good. But what?
But they, yes, Sean.
Why would they open
be.
themselves up to financial discovery, knowing that there are financial crimes that he's likely about to be indicted for?
Yeah, well, they've gotten away with so much for so long, and it's actually brilliant on the mother's lawyer's part in Arkansas. This little case in Arkansas about paying child support is now going to open up all of these financial records, and that judge in Arkansas is going to make him release all these financial records. That's where China, all the money he received from China, from Ukraine, from all of these boards he sat on without registering as a federal lobbyist, by the way, a foreign agent, are all going to come into play, and that could ultimately be his downfall.
What do you think about opening themselves up to discovery, Greg Jarrett?
Oh, I think it was foolhardy. Look, Hunter Biden opened this can of worms when he decided he'd rather be a deadbeat dad. And, you know, he can well afford the child support payments. But he opened the door for the judge to say, all right, I want to see your finances. And the evidence is right there on the laptop. Tens of millions of dollars flowing into Hunter Biden and his partner's business accounts and then distributed to up to a dozen Biden family members. And, you know, he's dodged all the court hearings. Finally, the judge ordered him to appear today. And there are going to be a lot more hearings before a bench trial set for a couple of months from now. And unless he settles this and agrees to pay the full amount, he's going to have to answer the ultimate question, is that your laptop? And of course, everybody knows it is. The FBI confirmed it. News organizations have authenticated. The contents are real. And, you know, ironically, it's an Arkansas judge, of all people, who may finally get Hunter Biden to try to tell the truth, but I think he'll try to slip away.
All right, let me bring John in here. You know, the girl's 4 years old. They don't even want this young granddaughter. They don't acknowledge her. You know, they put up Christmas stockings for the grandkids. He said last week he talks to all 6 of his grandkids. He has 7 grandkids. You know, I can only imagine when this girl becomes aware of the fact that her grandfather was the president of this great country and wouldn't even acknowledge her. And that, you know, all the other things about her father. The circumstances surrounding her birth should be irrelevant. She is an innocent 4-year-old little girl.
They had a Christmas stocking for the dog. So it's very, very tragic. And I just am always struck, having looked at the laptop in depth. Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, always had time for a business partner or a foreign oligarch in the White House, on the golf course, at Cafe Milano in D.C.
Sure.
But when it's his own grandchild, who is probably the only totally obviously innocent individual in this whole saga, they don't want to know from her. And London Roberts, she's a former stripper. The child was born through an affair.
I don't care what the mother did for a living. What I care about is the mental health long-term for this little girl. And this family abandoning her and not acknowledging her is repulsive.
They're not powerful people. They're not, you know, movers and shakers in world markets that Hunter was hanging around with. The little girl is a little girl. Do you all agree? Everyone agree? I mean, so she's innocent in all of this. Right. And this could all go away if Hunter wasn't trying to renegotiate the child support payment that he was paying her. He's choosing to open this can of worms right during his father's presidential election.
Why doesn't he go to his Hollywood friend that paid his $2.8 million tax bill and say, hey, can you give me a little money for my daughter? And by the way, the father, Joe Biden, the president, is a multimillionaire. Yeah. Why doesn't he sell his beach house and give that to his granddaughter?
Yeah, you know, something that I'm also struck by is his income sources today. Because I can't tell you where Hunter's making money for the last year or two.
Oh, he's selling paint by numbers.
He's selling paint by numbers. But who's buying the paint by numbers? And what are they paying for?
They won't tell us.
They won't tell us. But what massive Democrat donor is buying those paintings?
You've been through the whole laptop. So if they get to that laptop in discovery,
right,
what will they find?
Well, I mean, if the laptop as we have is, it's already out there on people like Marco Polo and Ziegler,
right,
but there's lots of financial records from banks and other things that we don't have access to.
Well, suspicious activity reports, James Comer now has them. The issue of these LLCs that seem like shell corporations that weren't for real businesses.
Right. The truth is we don't know exactly what we don't know.
Right.
And a trial like this is a perfect opportunity for, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
All right, let me go to Pam and Greg once again. Let me ask about Tony Blinken. How much trouble is Tony Blinken in? Number one, he ran the operation to get these 51 former Intel officials to weigh in on a laptop that they knew nothing about. And was there a quid pro quo that if he did this, he'd be Secretary of State? I don't know. I can't say. It's certainly a question worth asking. But more importantly, lying to Congress. How serious is that, Pam Bondi?
Having prosecuted many perjury cases. By the way, Sean, it's easy to prove perjury. You lied to Congress, it was a material fact, and you knew it was untrue. It's that basic to prove it. And that could be his downfall. And it's a very serious, it's a felony. And, when 2020, when Ron Johnson says he gave this testimony, he never dreamed that laptop would show up at a pawn shop or show up at a shop to get fixed. And he wouldn't claim it, and it would now become public. Then he gets 51 Intel officers, which he's now denying, but to participate in saying that it's fake, knowing, I would assume, the whole while that those emails could possibly be on there that incriminate him. So in 2020, he had no idea that laptop could ever see the light of day or that those emails would see the light of day. But perjury is very serious. Lying to Congress is serious, and I can't wait to see exactly what he said to Congress. Now, if he said, well, I don't remember, it could have been, that's a defense to perjury.
No, he said he did not talk to him. That's what Ron Johnson at least claimed this weekend.
Exactly. So I can't wait to see what that says.
All right, Greg, let's get your take.
Yeah, Pam's right. Under federal law, it's a crime to knowingly and willfully make a material false statement to Congress, even if it's unsworn. But it's a second crime if you do it under oath. It's called perjury. Beyond criminal prosecution, I think Anthony Blinken would have to be worried about impeachment because, remember, the alleged lie was made in his conversations with senators in the confirmation process.
Under oath.
Did he lie to get approval from the U.S. Senate? I mean, did he lie and that's the basis for his being Secretary of State today? Seems to me that's an impeachable offense. But even more troubling is that every time there was a Blinken-Hunter Biden correspondence, it was forwarded to Hunter Biden's business partners running these influence peddling schemes with foreign adversaries selling access to their dad and promises of influence. Was Blinken aware of that? Did he meet with some of these business partners? Americans need to know, is their president compromised? Has their Secretary of State as well jeopardized national security, now acting in the interests of China and Xi Jinping and not the American people?
All right, Greg Jarrett, Pam Bondi, John Levine, thank you. Good to see you. Appreciate it.